Welcome to the fish tank.
Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. You ever get one of those really busy weeks where you lose track of what day of the week it is? That happened to me. It was 10:30 Thursday night when I realized I hadn't started doing any of the recording. Well, not so much the recording, but transferring the footage to the computer and doing all the editing and getting Friday morning's video ready. So this might be a little bit rushed. I'm sorry for that. But what I have at least accomplished is I've got the Matten filter up and running. These are going to be the guides for where the sponge is going to sit in, so I can change them. And the reason why they're being made out of 1/4 inch is simply because, well, I was building it all out of 1/4 inch to start off with, and I had a few offcuts. So instead of chopping up some 1/8, which is probably what it should have been made out of, I just used those little pieces of offcut because they're almost the size I needed. I think they were fairly thin. And so that just made this just faster. And I already was short on time, so that was just an easy way of just getting this done. So there it is. It's all finished, except I'm not going to glue on the center bracket. I just leave it loose for the moment because, like I said, there's other stuff I want to do to this later on. But I want to run it for a little while, and it's more than solid enough to actually just stay in place. And as someone mentioned in the comments for Wednesday's video, these sponges are a little thin. They should be thicker for the size of tank. But what I want to do is I want to maintain relative comparison ability, at least between this and the box filters and all the other filters I make. I want to have roughly the same amount of surface area. So that's why they're a little bit thinner. Just so I can have a comparison for how efficient it is relative to what I've done so far. I mean, it is obviously rough estimations, but it's kind of important to make these things at least mildly comparable. So here the lift stacks are in. I haven't put on the final splash guards for them, but like I said, it was very busy, so I just want to get this up and running as quickly as possible, get water in that tank, and this is pretty much all that is absolutely necessary to get this running. So I've got it mounted in place now, and I'm going to fill this with water and get it running. You'll notice that one of the deflectors, the one in the back, is longer than the one in the front. And the reason for that is I want to see if I can moderate splash from these. So far for a lot of the filtration system, I'm only using the size in the front, which is about 2 inches. And I wanted to see if a little longer would cut down on some splashing and see if it has any kind of change in flow. This is obviously going to have to run for quite a while before I can make any kind of those sort of judgments. But as you can see, the splashing is less. And just by eyeballing it, there does seem to actually be a bit more flow out of the back one as well. So that I'll definitely work on over the next little while and observe and see what's going on, see if there's any difference in, well, overall performance, that sort of stuff. But anyway, just leave your comments below for this. This is pretty much all the footage I'm going to have for this week for the Matten filter. There will definitely be updates on this because I have to get fish in here and everything else. The rest of this is going to be me putting the second shelf on for the stack tray filter, trickle filter, whatever you want to call it, for the 7-foot tank. So here I've put on one of the guides, and I'm just lining up for the second one. I just use these pieces of aluminum as spacers just to make sure everything's the same, so the tray is held level. And I'm going to build this tray exactly the same as the top one. Here it is here. Except one little bit of a difference. I'm not going to use lava rock as I said before. I'm actually just going to use gravel. So because of that, I need to put some screen in it. And the easy way of cutting a screen is just to lay the box over it and then just cut around it with a razor blade. Now, I can't do this one-handed, so I gave up after a few minutes. And I just going to put the camera down, and I'm going to set this up with using both hands. Then I'm going to fill it full of gravel, and I'm going to stick it in the tank. I mean, it's not hard to do. It was just kind of bizarre sitting there trying to get that done. Then the reason why I leave it like this is it gives me a little extra overlap, so it keeps all the gravel in place. If I cut it to size to fit inside, because the egg crate is not solid, you can end up with, you know, gravel falling through, and this keeps it neater that way. And I'm just using plain old river rock natural gravel. There's nothing special about it. If I wanted to use something more porous, this is probably not the best choice, but it does have a fair amount of surface area, and hopefully it will, actually I know it's going to work just fine, but I wanted to do something a little bit different than just lava rock, because I've done a lot of lava rocks lately, and this will give me a little bit of a slightly different comparison. So there's going to be a last clip of this up and running. That's perfectly fine, obviously. It's just being started up, and there's nothing really special about it, but I do like the way the water flows through it, and obviously this is going to have to mature a lot. But that's pretty much, you know, what I wanted to do for today anyway. So here is the original tray, and it's still dripping quite nicely, and then I'm going to slide in the other one. That's the nice thing about this. It just slides in. It's very easy. And I am going to build a cover for that because I want to cut down on that sort of splashing as well. As you see, it just works really nicely, and there's no real issues with it. So this is pretty much the end of this video. So again, a nice short one, I guess, if you like short videos. But I did get everything done. I just wanted, like I said, I wanted to get this functional as much as I could, so these things can mature and do the things that they need to do, so I can start adding plants and other stuff to them. So if you like this style of video, please like and or subscribe, and always let me know what's going on below. Fill in all the comments you like, and suggestions, all that sort of stuff. Always much appreciated. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.